Welcome, everybody, to the Independent Mind podcast. We are your hosts. I am DJ Mixwell, and as always, I am with my boy Giovanni. How are you doing?
Dude, it's been a pretty rough couple days, man. Just been getting these like headaches. But hey, anytime that we're here is a good time. So I'm doing great. What about yourself, man?
Oh, just going through life, taking the punches as they come. So
Rolling with the punches.
it's all you can fucking do. It's been an interesting week, interesting 24 hours, about to be an interesting next 72 hours, I would say. So all I can do is just fucking roll with it. We're here. So
Fingers crossed for blessings.
yeah, I need them.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man. It feels good to be back on the cast. Let's get into it. I don't know if you've been paying attention to any like recent news or anything like that, but the sports person in me wants to talk about it because it's such a controversial topic. So we will talk about it. I don't know if you heard, I forget what her name is. I probably should have jotted that down, but she's a USA track runner and she got popped for smoking weed. And now she's not on the USA team because of it. Her mom died. She went and smoked some weed after. And she came out to say that she knew what she was doing. She knew that basically she knew what the consequences would be of smoking weed. And there's a lot of fucking people who are not vibing with it at all on her getting trouble for smoking weed, this and that. And I hear a lot of people say too that she smoked weed in Oregon and that in Oregon it's legal. But what I think a lot of people don't realize is that, yes, it may be legal in Oregon, but when it comes to an Olympic team, this is a global event and that those same rules in a state, hell, don't even apply for the country because it's not even federally legal. Now, why would it apply for a global event?
Yeah, I see I see the point that maybe, like the heads that had to come with that decision. I see their whole view on it is, this person's representing the USA. She's a role model to a lot of people, in and out of the country. And now she has this stain of marijuana on her. And like, although marijuana is a very petty drug, like it's still not widely accepted to a point where you want a national role model to be a known marijuana smoker. So I think that's where that decision came from. At the same time, we have a man who's dressing like a woman participating in the Olympics as a woman and bodybuilding or fucking powerlifting. So there's definitely seems to be like some sort of power, like some double standard there, like something a little bit sus. For me, it seems pretty damn ridiculous that this chick will be removed from the team because of that. And maybe they come back on it. I kind of doubt it. Yeah, it's super super unfortunate. I
Yeah,
don't
from
think.
my
Yeah,
go ahead.
John. I don't think it being in Oregon is relevant whatsoever because almost like you mentioned, it's a national thing. It's a representation of the whole country, and it's still something illegal within the country.
Yeah, it's yeah, I agree. And I mean, it's coming from me as a big weed smoker. Um, everything comes with consequences. Like I was going back and forth with the homegirl on Facebook, and she was like, "You're the biggest rule breaker I know," and I was like, "Okay, touche. I might be, but also too, I deal with my consequences that have came with that, and still dealing with it." So it's like, okay, yeah. Same thing with that woman who's running track and decided to smoke weed. You have to deal with those consequences. Is it stupid? I think it's pretty stupid, but it also makes a lot of sense too, to where why you you're not on the team no more. Because now they came out and said that she won't that she won't make it. There was like, I think she got like a 30-day suspension, but they ended up coming out with the roster for the team for track, and she's not on there. So it's like, I get it. I get it. I just think I think people's arguments on it for the most part, especially when they involve Oregon, I think they really lose me there. Cause it's like, this isn't like running track for like an in-state tournament, or something like that. It's like, this is the Olympics. Why should you be able to smoke weed and then fucking Team India or whoever that really looked down on it, or whatever country that does, they're not smoking? So it's like, do you have an advantage? Do you have an advantage of, if you go run an event and you go smoke some weed and your body does heal from, like, you get healed from that weed, you technically do have an advantage.
Right.
So it's like, it makes sense to me. And then, yeah, then like you said, on the flip side, it's like, you have someone who's technically a male that's going to absolutely fucking dominate the women's division when it comes
Dude,
when it comes to powerlifting. He or she, whatever the fuck it is now, is going to dominate. Purely dominate.
I don't think he's for America, right? That dude. I'm pretty sure he's for another country. And God, I can't remember what the country was at the top of my head. Was it like New Zealand or something? Or
I don't even remember. I just saw it and was like, oh,
I'm
dear
trying to see
God.
if I find it here very quickly. Yeah, I just that just seems ridiculous, but I see why that would be appropriate. I don't want to say appropriate. I want to see why that would make it onto like the mainstream screen. That's something that's trying to get advocated for right now, something that's trying to get pushed onto society. So you see this, and like, although it's controversial, it's, if you combat it, you're in the wrong by the standards of the media. To where marijuana, it's like not all accepted. I mean, like, as far as in the mainstream, it's still not very it's not respected by any means. Like, people still look down on it quite a bit. So I see why. At the end of the day, the Olympics is all the countries, getting their best shiny objects together and showcasing them in front of a TV for the world to see. And like, you wouldn't want your shiny object to be stained by any means. And although it's something light, it could spark up controversy. It could spark up, a lot of different problems. I 100% think it's completely ridiculous, but I also see why.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I mean, on one end of it, I mean, I do think it's ridiculous because I do not think that like weed is bad, but I do think weed helps you. And that's where I feel like the advantage comes in.
Yeah, it
And I
opens up
just
your
think,
lungs, right? Yeah, it was New Zealand,
yeah,
by the way.
yeah. And shit, you look at Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps was fucking killing it as a pothead. And but yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing, but I think at the end of the day, it's like, it comes down to, you know what you're doing, and you know that you shouldn't be doing it. You're competing. You know what the rules are.
Yeah, you have such a big spotlight on you as well. I'm
Yeah,
not
and
sure
it's
how
like,
she even got caught. Was it like a DNA, like a drug test or something that they
yeah,
did
I
on
think
her?
I think it was a drug test. I could be
Yeah,
wrong. But it had to have been something along those lines. But it's
yeah,
like, you know what you're doing. Like, you're literally, you're competing for the Olympics. You know that there's testing. They're testing for steroids. They're testing for any of that. And it's like, yeah, like, you just have to know what the consequences are. Is it stupid? It's, for the most part, I mean, it kind of is, but it's the same thing of where it's like, well, if you're a big pothead and you go smoke a joint and you go drive, and you think you're good, do you think that you can drive? Yeah, you can. But if you get pulled over, there's a good chance that you're going to get a DUI. And
Right.
that's the consequence that you have to face. There's consequences to everything. You just can't, you shouldn't be able to get a pass. Like, does it suck for why she smoked? Of course. Her mom died and she was trying to cope.
But that's
It's,
genuinely like irrelevant when you're looking at like the wider picture. At the end of the day,
yeah.
kind of like I mentioned, it's just the countries getting together and showcasing their their best athletes. And they don't give a damn if your mom died the day of. Like, that's not what they're really caring about. They're trying to showcase the best athletes.
Yeah. And, yeah, and it's just a big mess all the way around because
It's a great story, I'll tell you that. Like, it's something that is going to divide. It's going people are going to argue, people are going to have their viewpoints on it.
yeah, for sure.
It's
Like I've already
definitely
seen
a
it
great story.
that like there's already been points of like trying to make it on a racial thing to where it's like
Of course, always.
you guys didn't ridicule Michael Phelps when he was smoking. It's like I'm pretty sure that fool got fucking ridiculed. Like
Yeah, didn't he get his
he
medals
only
taken away?
no, I don't think he got his medals taken away, but
Chris, that's what happened.
but like he only started becoming cool when he was like getting like when he had like that one famous picture or video of him getting caught hitting the bong and stuff like that. And it took a while for him to like finally start getting looked at as a fucking cool guy that he won medals and we're now seeing him smoke
And
weed and shit like that.
for his case, it was a picture, that video leak of him doing it in the past, right? It wasn't like he had the Olympics coming up in a month and he was ripping bongs, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So even then, like I see, that's not the same. You can't really compare that. If that video was released like a month before the Olympics, I'm sure he'd probably be off the team as well.
For sure. Especially at a time that like back then.
Especially back then when marijuana was even more locked down than now.
Yeah, there was no states that had it legal,
Right.
maybe other than California for fucking medical. And that's about it. And then you also see like the white man or woman that gets to compete as a woman now. I guess it's a woman. I guess I should probably stop calling it a man.
I refuse. That's a fucking man.
Technicalities for sure, man.
It's a man with makeup.
And then and then you get to see like, well, you're letting this white man perform like as a female. And then, just social media will just do everything in its power to just help create that divide. And it's like, well, are you surprised that they're letting this biological man compete as a woman? That's what we're constantly getting shoved down our throats. Like if
New Zealand was the first country to do it, I have a feeling, 4 years from now we'll be seeing it again. Olympics every 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Every 4 years. I'm sure we'll be seeing it again. Probably more and more countries.
And it's nothing that we should be surprised about. Like I said, we're constantly getting that thrown down our throats. So it's like it's nothing that should be a surprise to people that they're allowing that to happen. From high school to fucking so on and so forth. It's fucking just happening all the time.
Yeah,
but also then again too, I mean, some people do have a point because they're like, okay, well, if the weed is quote unquote an advantage, isn't this guy who's now a woman who's taken, who's one just naturally stronger because he's a guy.
35 years or something of being a man and being a power lifter like his entire life.
And then you're taking like all these like hormones and shit like that. That's fucking pretty much stimulating the body. Like it's kind of an advantage too. So it's kind of like,
yeah, the thing is, like, you look at the photos and this just looks like a grown ass man. It's just a regular grown ass man in his 40s out there about to just dominate.
They should already give him the gold medal and then just not allow him to
Save the
compete
time.
and then just allow other people just to compete for the silver and bronze, because that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day.
You know what's gonna be really interesting? This is just like my fucking like my mind thinking of like the most ironic shit. You know how like there's this big argument that like men and women are equal, that it wouldn't matter because he got the hormones, he will be weaker and he'll be equal to a woman. Um, what if he just fucking throws, completely throws, gets like a bronze, and just like some random like little Asian chick, like 5'2", comes in and takes the gold.
What if that motherfucker doesn't even place for a medal?
Just yeah, like that would be so bad. Because oh, that would be so bad. Because then, like, it would solidify this, it would give evidence to this claim that people think that like a woman can be as strong as a man.
Yeah,
It's
I guess
a lot of people would see that as like the holy grail of evidence.
and I don't know if that would be a good or bad thing too, because yeah, it would throw that claim out the window. But then again, it's like now it's just going to be more accepting of it.
That's exactly what I mean. It would be accepting and it'd be like a steady ramp up to the point where like, women's sports gone.
Like, did you see that
Absolutely
one?
gone.
It wasn't in the UFC, but it was in one of those MMA.
Dude, so abusive, man.
The one where that it was a guy.
A
Now
grown
it's a
ass
girl.
man just
and then
giving head
fucking-
concussions, bro. Sending women
Hey,
to the
dude,
hospital.
I don't know if you saw the one picture. This one girl, her skull was dented in.
Yeah.
So
Dude, it's funny because it's just like, what the hell's going on here? Like, how is this okay? But at the same time, dude, that's really sad. Like this guy grows up his entire life, right? Like whether he was in a domestic violence house or not, whether he saw like women as like, you don't hit women. And then this fool becomes an MMA fighter and just grown ass man, bro, just beating the shit out of these women. And like I remember like reading in an article, I'm not sure how true this is, but the first few women's had no clue. They had no clue that he was like a trans guy. So like they're just wondering why this person is so strong and just kicking their ass. It's a fucking man. Like, dude, I'd be pissed. I'd be suing. Like what? That's so devastating. I mean, like some of these people, like, do you get like, especially in the fighting career, man? Like, you can only take a certain amount of blows. Like,
yeah,
after enough blows, like your career's done. And like, for a woman, like to get beat up by a man that bad, like that's definitely going to take a few fights out of your career.
bro, you get a hole knocked in your skull, bro. Your career is done.
That's so sad.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that, and I don't know where. I just don't know where it's ever gonna like end. Like,
well, the worst
have, like,
it's just men and women are in the same category. Because I mean that's the way it's starting to look, which is just ridiculous. I mean, you don't see any woman converting into a men's sport. Why? Why is it always the guys? Why is it always the grown ass men who like or can't make it nowhere as a guy, so they convert as a woman and just dominate the scene?
And it kind of just proves the point that a man is just more times than none, a man is just going to be stronger than a woman. Like, are there women that are stronger than some men?
Of course.
But then it's like, if that's 100% the case all the time, why don't we have a woman who's transitioned into a man fighting guys in the UFC or some other
or powerlifting,
some other fight company or whatever the fuck it may be?
Like, I mean, there's just endless evidence like that shows, that men are obviously strong. I mean, you just look at like the records, like like the weightlifting records across the board for like men, and then for women, like it's not even close. Um, it's just sad, dude. Like it's really sad. I feel like there's a lot of things being pushed onto us as a society, and like I've had like the fortune and misfortune recently of like speaking to a lot of the younger generation, people from the ages 13 to 17, and a lot of these kids have fully adopted these ideologies. Everything that we're seeing right now as like bizarre and like new age and kind of like a little bit weird, they're like fucking brainwashed into like, this is right, this is the new way of doing things, this is how everything is like. And it's so weird having these conversations with them because they don't know any better. And if you think of, bro, that's only 10 years younger than us. That's a 10-year gap.
Yeah.
That's a 10-year gap.
A lot of shit changes in a decade, though.
Yeah, literally one
Goes to
decade.
show.
And it's like these kids are like all in support of all this, and they don't even know why. They repeat the same things you see on Instagram memes, and like what I asked them, like where
Yeah.
they're even getting all this information from. They're like, it's all over social media. My teachers, like, it's like what? Like
Yeah.
your teachers, like that's something that alarms me quite a bit, to be honest. Like I hate to get controversial. Some people may disagree with this, but like I think teachers need to stick to teaching about curriculum, about the education aspects of life, and then leave the life teaching to the parents. I don't think they need to be getting into like imposing their social views onto their kids,
Yeah,
onto their students.
especially when it comes to like ideologies like that, because it's such a divide and it's such a controversial topic, and it's like you're not there to talk about that.
Yeah,
Like there's no reason why you should be a math teacher talking about that.
exactly. And
Like if you're a health teacher,
I
I
can see
guess
the
maybe
correlation.
I guess maybe like that would probably like make sense on with everything happening, but it's like to push certain things and certain ideologies on the kids that have growing brains, and you're forming them to have these opinions, and you're in a sense you're brainwashing them.
Yeah,
And it's like if I had a kid right now in high school and he or she came back home telling me this, bro, it'd be done. They would not
yeah.
be going back to public school
No,
for
100%,
sure.
man. Like, we're looking at getting a Veen into a private school right now, like a little daycare, preschool, kindergarten type thing. And that's the first thing that we did was like, interview the staff, find out like what sort of things they're teaching, where they stand politically on, on these different topics. And if they're even teaching the kids whatever side they stand on. And like, fortunately, we found one that like none of that's involved. They don't give a damn about any of that. So
That's
I'm like
good.
extremely, extremely thrilled about that because that's my biggest concern if she gets into public school and later on is that like there's some dickhead teacher out there brainwashing these kids rather than teaching them history or algebra.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't see why it would be necessary to talk about that. Um it's a fucking trip, man. It's an interesting world that we live in, and it's just interesting to see like the whole difference that can happen within 10 years of us being 15, 16 in high school, and what 15 to 16-year-olds now are learning in high school, and what's getting pushed on them. And it's like, look, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do with your body. But as far as like pushing it and like like just if you're a teacher pushing those ideologies, it just doesn't make sense. Like, and I just think another thing too is like, I don't think it should be, how can I word this? I don't think you, as a middle schooler, high schooler, anything like that, like if you're a guy and you want to transition to a girl, that's something that should be done when you're like 18, 21.
100%. That's
It's
another big controversial one. I see
like
articles on that shit. It breaks me, dude.
trying to change the name and all that. It's like, how do you not know this is just like not a phase? Like, for people who've grown up with nothing but sisters, and their sisters are always painting their nails or, just doing stuff to their little brother. And then, you know, a phase hits, and it's phases happen, things come and go. Yeah, and you just see a lot of, it's parents, they can do what the fuck they want, but it's like to allow like name changes or anything like that is a trip. And another thing that's a trip to me too is not giving like, I'm not going to say the person on who it is, but they got friends whose kid, they had a kid recently, and they're not pushing a gender to them. They're buying them boy toys, girls toys, and they're going to let that kid pick his own gender.
How confusing is that? Like, how confusing is that? I mean, that's just so, dude. That's so sad. I saw a celebrity who like adopted these little African kids, and like one's like 2.5 or 3 years old, and she's like, he identifies as like bi. What the hell? What's that shit called, dude? Like binary or something like. Pretty much like they don't have a sex or something, and like this kid would be dressed all sorts of mismatched, like and it's just like, dude, this kid's like 2.5 years old, 3 years old. This kid can now wipe his own ass without your help.
Motherfucker can't even tie his own shoes.
Literally, and like you're
And
letting
he's
him decide his. It's like what the fuck, man? Like it's so sad,
it's
but
fucked because like
it's a
what I
very niche. There's not too many people doing that. That's the thing. We can't get stuck on thinking like that's a big problem. I think genuinely it's probably like 0.001% of the fucking population is doing that shit.
maybe, but everything that starts off as a small problem more times than none leads to a big problem.
It can.
And then I just think too, it's like it's very simple. You have a penis or you have a vagina. And there's only two things.
Yeah.
There's only two fucking things.
I never thought it was so damn complicated.
It's only literally like it's a flip of a coin on what you got.
Yeah.
Heads, you got a dick. Other side, you got a vagina.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what the fuck? What are we talking about? And it's like when you let your kid, not giving them a gender, and you can, as they grow older and they're clearly a boy or a girl, and one day with school they're dressing as a boy and the other day they're wearing a pink dress, you're just setting your kid up to get fucking bullied. That's
Yeah,
how I see it.
just
Like
so they get abused. Like you're
they're gonna
creating like
it's such a big
yeah.
mental problem that they're gonna grow up to have, all because of this weird thing that has came about to where you don't want to give them a gender.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like creating this big bad world that you think exists, right? You think there's this big bad world where like people are super homophobic and like they see someone who's a little bit weird and just stop what they're doing and start flaming this person. It's almost like you're trying to create that, like by, some kid in kindergarten, like going up and mixed dressing, cross dressing and just acting, completely out of natural nature. It's you're almost like setting him up, like you said, to be bullied, so that then you can be like, look at the world that we have where people are so hateful towards these people. And like we need to stop it. So you can make an Instagram post and go trending. Like,
Yeah. How
man.
how the fuck are they gonna feel when they get to 16 years old, 17, 18, and they got, a lot of nothing but guys who are boys and girls that are girls. And then here the fuck they are, their whole entire life, they were told, no, you can pick. And then that just leads to the problem too. It's like if you have a dick and you're going to go dress out in PE, there becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Because now, what if you have a dick, but you say you're a girl, but you like girls,
Yeah.
and you're seeing you're a boy, and you're seeing, like, imagine you got someone like that at school, and then you got this kid who has a dick looking at Aveen dress out for PE.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I
Like,
think
what the
about that a
fuck?
lot
Like, how the
with
fuck do you think about, like, how do you feel?
no, I think about that a lot with the bathrooms. Like Avine's gonna be reaching that age soon where she's gonna be going into public bathrooms by herself, right? And it's like I think about the scenario, like how am I gonna react when a dude walks in after her?
Yeah.
Like what the hell are you gonna do there? You're gonna be that guy that creates the damn scene. At least I would be.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard not to. I
Yeah.
mean, you're gonna watch your little girl go in, and then you got this fucking, you got this guy who claims he's a girl that's out here breaking records for powerlifting, following the beam right into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck, this girl's bigger than you, has a bigger mustache, and fucking is going in to go fucking piss.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
go pop a squat. Yeah, dude.
and it's just,
I don't know, man.
even just on the school end, it trips me out. It's like it's fucking a trip, man. It's a trip. I just don't get it. I really don't. It's like, I don't care what you do with yourself realistically, but I guess I do in a sense. Like, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. But it's like, I guess if it's becoming a normal thing, then there should be a third class, or there should be a third bathroom, not a fucking general neutral bathroom. There should be 4 of them. If you are a guy and you want to be a girl, you go into that new girl bathroom. If you're a girl and want to become a guy, you go to the new guy's bathroom.
But then what about the people that like don't identify as either, or the people that identify as a deer?
Well, then fuck.
Right.
You gotta have that. You gotta have that.
Gotta have a
fifth
bush
bathroom.
for them or something.
Yeah, sort of guy. Well, bitch, go to the backyard or something. I don't know. The fuck. You fucking you claim yourself as a goddamn cow or something. Go fucking shit in the yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess you gotta have 5 bathrooms, because then you gotta have that. You gotta have the fucking mysterious fucking question mark bathroom.
Bro, I feel like that'd be the third bathroom, and then you leave it at that. You put a big question mark over the third bathroom, bro, and you just like whatever goes down there goes down. It's like fucking Fight Club, bro. You don't talk about question marks.
Yeah, I just get grossed out when it comes to, like, when it just comes to a public bathroom, and this person is claiming more. I guess it's not as weird of a guy becoming a girl or a girl becoming a guy. I think it's just because it's still weird, but I think I just get more weird into the sense of just a guy who's becoming a girl, and that's just like following up into a girl's bathroom when there's like little kids there or something like that. Like,
yeah, it's very like gives off Predator vibes, almost like.
It's for sure.
Chris Hansen's gonna pop up out of nowhere. Like, take a seat right there, would you? Take a seat. No.
Fuck, bro. I think it was like last month. I was binge watching so many of those Hansen vs. Predator shows.
Me too, bro.
I was binge watching the fuck out of them.
Me too.
I must have seen every episode now.
Oh my god, dude, they're so funny, man. I was actually listening to the podcast of Joe Rogan and him, and then he was saying like how the show got canceled and like kind of what led up to what he thinks led up to it, and some of like the stories behind. Dude, that shit was all legit from the sounds of it, man. Like,
yeah,
he is completely legit, dude. And finding the same people multiple times, throughout the years, like, I can't imagine that job of like. You're just waiting, bro. You're just waiting in the bedroom, right? Like, you got a camera guy behind you. You got your documents. You're reading them over. You hear the guy in the next room over, and like you wait for the call. You walk in. Hey, what are you doing here? Go ahead and take a seat right there. Just go ahead and take a seat right there.
You're like, fuck. Did you see the one guy who had the pizza with him and he started eating this? he started having a slice and then asked
Offered him the
Hanson if
pizza. Yeah, dude. Like, what the? Like, these people, like, you could just tell, bro. They're so fucked in the head. They're so fucked
yeah.
in the head. It's like, it's so sad, man. It's so sad. But
Yeah, no, it's such a that would be a fucking weird job, especially the one girl who has the one like female cop, I think it is, who has the responsibility of
catfishing everyone.
yeah,
The fucking
catfishing
the
them.
bait, bro. Just baiting all day, dude. Just catfishing on the online, bro. She pulls it off so well. She pulls it
Oh
off so
fuck.
well.
She lightweight has some predator vibes. 'Cause
Dude,
what if they found out that she was actually doing the same thing as these other guys and was just using like on the flip side, she was fucking like abusing
knew.
boys because she knows how to reply as a kid.
She knows how to stay underneath the radar as well and not get caught.
Fuck, she's learned all the ins and outs. Oh my god.
That's just dark. That's just dark thinking, bro.
Oh fuck, man. Enough of these weird vibes. Let's go to even some more weirder vibes. I had showed you the video of it, but it's too fucked to not talk about. But that building that collapsed in Florida.
Oh, a couple weeks, huh? Going back
Yeah.
a week ago.
Yeah, they finally just demolished, I think, the rest of the building. Why are you laughing?
You said they finally demolished the rest of the building, like pretty
They
much.
did. They brought that bitch down.
Yeah, I mean, they brought it down from the start too. Like I
They
don't know.
definitely did bring that bitch
Bro.
down from the start. That shit is sus as fuck.
Yeah, I've never. And like, my cousin was telling me like there was something about like some guy who had information on like Jeffrey Epstein and the island and all that shit. That was where like he had all of his information held. Was like in one of those suites. Like he owned one of those suites or something. And
Ooh, nice juicy conspiracy theory. I like that.
yeah, and they like took it down to like get rid of all the evidence, collapse it all.
Damn.
Because I tell you what, man, you look at that damn video, like you can look at from any damn angle. That should look so unnatural.
Bro, that bitch fell down perfect.
That building collapsed, like just, bro, stacked down, dude. Like that wasn't Jenga. That wasn't none of that.
Yeah, right. That
so
wasn't
controlled.
like falling one like a
Yeah.
far left or far
No.
right or anything like that. That
Just-
bitch came a perfectly demolished building.
Yeah, straight down, dude. There's no shot that happens, man. Like I don't know, dude. Like I don't see that
Yeah, it
being a
sucks
thing.
because
but-
you get a lot of, and just to clarify, we weren't laughing at the people that fucking obviously or died or still missing or nothing like that. It's more of a laughing point on like how more blatant can they put that in our faces to think that that wasn't like planned.
Yeah, it seems
like it's fucking. I've never seen a fucking high-rise building just completely collapse like that. You don't ever really see them collapse anyways. Like you're telling me some of those strong ass hurricanes that have came through, that bitch never knocked down something like that.
yeah.
And then just all of a sudden, like
Nice, bright, sunny day. Just building collapses.
this
Like
bitch
what?
just goes down perfect.
Yeah, no way.
Falls down perfectly. I think that's where it's like
No
it's
collateral.
it's a fucked up laugh. That's what it really is. It's fucked up because it's like, wow, really? And then what did we say too? Like that was around the day when they keep on pushing, finally gonna get some UFO fucking files dropped and this and that. And then just right around that time, boom, that happens.
the day before. Speaking about the UFO files, man, did you see what they came up with? They like investigated like 185 or something different cases. They found that I think 12 or 13 of them could be explained. And they said the others, they have no clue what the hell it could possibly be.
What are they saying on why it could be explained?
I didn't look into those specific set number of they could explain, but they said, things like, oh, it could be a drone, or like it could be like a, radar, misdetection, like, it could be multiple different things. But the fact is, like, there's like 185 or 180 something cases, and only like 10 of them, 10, 13, however many, were able to be explained. So they said, like, we need more data. We don't know what the hell this is. It's not us, and like we don't think that's Russian or China by any means. Um, and that was kind of like the answer I'd almost expected. I thought they were gonna drop some more videos or photos, but I don't think they did. It was mainly just we don't know what the hell this is, which we already knew they had no clue what the hell it was. But now it's like, official document, like they don't know what the fuck it is.
Oh God. They're for sure aliens.
There's no way there's not. I just don't believe it, dude. Like, there's no way there's not. Like, it's almost like, you have a bag of rice, like only one kernel of rice
is like a galaxy
has life.
Yeah.
Like, only one of them has life.
Yeah, they explain it as like a bag of rice, and each rice grain is a galaxy. And then there's a whole bag of rice.
Yeah.
A bunch of different galaxies. And it's like, we're the only one that has life.
Yeah.
That's the case. We're lucky as fuck.
Yeah, extremely, extremely lucky.
We're lucky to be alive, I guess.
I mean, there's
to be the only life forms.
There's beautiful harmony, though, and synchronization and everything that goes on in our galaxy. Like, I've looked a little bit into that recently, like into like the calculations and the laws of our universe, of our galaxy, man. And like everything's so perfect. The way everything circulates, like it looks so engineered. I'm not religious by any means, or like believe in a higher divine power, but when I look at stuff like that, like it's kind of hard not to. Like, there's only so many odds you can get. So I also can see the other argument where it's like, if you keep rolling that dice, you keep rolling the chances, eventually that 1 in a million is going to hit, but it won't hit 10 times. It's like a 1 in a million thing, which is like the argument for like why we have life here. But genuinely, like, we have no clue what the hell is out there. We have no clue. Like, what was that what is it, dude? Is it the Hubble? No, not the Hubble scope. Voyager. Yeah, Voyager just left like our solar system, or just left our galaxy, right? I think it just left our galaxy. It has like 5 years left of battery life, but it has a recorder on it where it's recording audio and video, and it's able to feed back the loop back over to us. And just about a month and a half ago, when it left our I want to say galaxy, I could be wrong, but it's your solar system or galaxy. The moment that it left that, it started to pick up sound in space. And they said like it can pick up like this hum. And I watched a video of like the hum, and it's like, have you ever heard of binaural beats or binaural rhythms, where like it's like a certain frequency, like 564 hertz, and it's like a steady fucking beat of like that hertz playing?
I think so, yeah.
And like, there's different rhythm, like different hertz for like different properties, like activating different parts of your brain. You're supposed to like listen to them when you're meditating or going to bed or whatever. It almost sounded like that, like the audio that they brought back. And it was really interesting because I always thought there was no sound in space. I thought space was completely silent. For this thing to be able to hear something so fucking far away making a humming sound.
Yeah, I knew. I knew there were sounds. And I only knew that because one beat that I made, I used like different sounds. I think that was from NASA that they posted on YouTube. And it was like sounds from like different planets or some shit. I made the beat like 3-4 years ago. The beat is completely ass, but
That's pretty interesting.
but yeah, it was something. What the fuck was it? I don't even think it was like an original beat that I was making. I think it was like some sort of like EDM edit, and I
Okay.
was just adding some shit to it, and and I was adding in like certain like space sounds and shit that I was able to grab from NASA. But yeah, I've always, not always, but I definitely knew that there were some sounds out there. Um, but yeah, that shit is weird to even think about, and even hard to comprehend of something like leaving like our galaxy. Like,
Well, I mean,
where
if you
the
think about,
fuck is it going?
yeah, or even like the origin of this hum. If like you're able to hear a hum and you don't see where it's coming from, that shit's got to be so far away for you to be able to hear it and so massive. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder what the hell the source of that thing is. Like, what the hell is the source of that sound?
Yeah, and like where the fuck is it in space when it leaves the galaxy? Like what the fuck goes pat like where the fuck are you?
Yeah,
Where the fuck is this thing at? Like
I'm sure there's a map of like the galaxy zoomed out and like the next galaxy over. They probably have like an idea of like what it kind of looks like.
that shit's a trick. 'Cause that shit's so fucking far away.
Dude, oh man, I had the funniest like talking about space. Yeah, I had the funniest like realization earlier. Like I mentioned, I've been talking to like the younger generation a bit recently, and I was thinking back to growing up and knowing 9 planets, and like now it's 8 planets, and like for
Oh
some
yeah,
reason
of
that
not
just
counting
seems,
Pluto.
yeah, that just seems so funny to me. I don't, not sure why. Of
I'm pretty
like
sure
it
they went
seemed.
back and counted Pluto as a planet now.
No, I don't think so, man.
No?
No, I think Pluto's like what is like I'm gonna Google it real quick. Like Pluto's like a dwarf planet. Um, I don't think it's recognized as our planet anymore, as a planet.
Really? I thought it was.
No, I don't think so. Just so weird. Yeah, it looks like it's not anymore. It started being controversial in the 1990s, and then 2006, it got removed from being a planet, and it got
Uh
reclassified as a dwarf planet.
Damn. That makes me think of a hella off topic of a planet, but of something on like of what we grew up knowing, like kind of like how we grew up with Pluto as a planet. Christopher Columbus as a somewhat like a what we thought was a good guy. Do you know the fucked up shit that he's done?
I've not too much. I've heard things. Um, but no, enlighten me on what you found.
There's like there's like records that like I think his son or brother kept like as they were going on, and like he would keep records of like events that would happen and shit like that. Bro, this motherfucker was a fucked up individual. Really fucked up. Like there was like if you fucked up as an adult, like you did something wrong, the punishment, there was punish and then this is recorded like as evidence. And I might be butchering it, so if you're listening, don't fucking count me as a fucking history teacher because I'm not. But like this fool would be like grab like babies and shit like that and like smash them against like smash their skulls against rocks and all this like fucking brutal shit, bro. Brutal.
That man's PTSD must have been so off the roof. Like, I mean, like you think about like the whole conquering time for him, and like they come to America and they see these people that look a little bit different than they do. right? They're not civilized. They're almost like animals to them. And they see how they're communicating some weird language you don't understand. And, everyone around you in that society that you've created, views them as animals. And you're slaughtering these things that look so much like you, but a little bit different. And you're thinking they're animals. And like enough times, like you tell yourself they're animals, they're animals, they're animals. And I feel like you just start to lose it, bro, after a while, man. Like you kill so many of something and you just completely lose it. Like your touch of life is gone.
Yeah,
And
no, for sure. Like,
that's what they
look at
did.
this motherfucker. He looks like a fucking prick. He looks like a prick.
Yeah,
This fool looks fucked up. Yeah, like he was kidnapping women, or like he kidnapped a woman, gave her to a crew member to rape, fucking cutting off fucking Indians' ears,
God damn.
slaved over 1,000 people, forced to collect gold for him or to die.
Yeah, man, that guy's an absolute animal.
Yeah, and it's always funny because we kind of grew up like he forced 9 and 10-year-old girls into sexual slavery.
Yeah,
He
and
was beheading people and shit like
this
that. And
the
there,
I don't know,
there,
man.
there's evidence like if you dig into it, I forgot where I heard it from that originally had me thinking about it. I think it was a Joe Rogan podcast, and he had on a guest and like just had all this shit about him. And it was like, fuck, that shit is crazy to think about. Cause we grew up knowing that like he was basically a liked man for sure. Like to be celebrated for on a certain day. We had Christopher Columbus Day, and that bitch is not no more. And then like if you think like to older, like I was telling, like think it was like my dad or something, and was telling him because we were having a conversation on why they don't have it anymore. And same thing for him too. Like for their generation, it's like Christopher Columbus, motherfucker, he found this bitch basically.
I mean, his actions are absolutely awful, but I don't think it can be. I don't think it can be truly understood. Life back then, 300 fucking years ago, damn near, was a very, very different time than what we have now. Like humans are a lot more brutal, a lot more savage, and sure, a lot of the things that he did was absolutely awful compared to now, to where back then maybe they weren't as bad. Not saying they weren't bad, but they maybe weren't as bad. So like us looking back, like you look at like a lot of these different practices that we had, right? Like whether you're Mayan and you're Aztec or whatever, and you're sacrificing thousands of people and fucking rolling their goddamn heads down a damn staircase. That looks fucking insane. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? But back then, like that was their way of life. That was normal to them. So that's where I kind of get lost in that argument of like talking so down, or like looking at him as like this horrible villain. It seems a little bit off because we're in a completely different time now, and the outcome of what he did, although his methods are really bad, it had a great outcome. And I think like as far as for celebrating that day, I think maybe not celebrating the man, but maybe celebrating the action, the consequence of it is something worth reviewing. Because I mean, if that guy didn't go out there and like fucking rule with an iron fist and make sure that all the soldiers are on deck, make sure like we fully colonized this piece of land and killed everyone, like we would not have America right now. It would be completely different. One person colonized the hell out of it. He was an absolute warlord.
Yeah, and that's probably where people, like what you said, actions think things that people did back then were so different. But then it kind of makes sense on to where, yeah, I mean, if you look at it as today's standards, yeah, you would look back at it on a person like him and be like, yeah, that was a fucking dirtbag.
Yeah.
But then it's like
He's in
things were
war
very
back then.
different.
Like,
But it's like what you said, like with the Aztecs and just with all of onto those type of people. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how soccer came about. I'm pretty sure it was someone's fucking dome that got beheaded.
dude,
If I'm not
probably.
mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's how like the origins of soccer came about.
Yeah, I would not be surprised, man. I
Was
know.
fucking kicking
Yeah.
the fucking enemy's head, fucking noggin around.
Yeah, I mean, like there's so many. I think we often get lost in the emotion, right? And like we like let other people's emotions, other people's thoughts, like curate ours a little too much. And something like this, like this is why I've always stayed away from the Christopher Columbus thing. Is yeah, dude, the guy was probably an absolute savage, cold-blooded murder, probably a fucking cannibal. That man, like you can just imagine, bro. You have like these people on a damn boat, selling like to a new land, dying on that damn boat. They're fucking irritated. They're angry. Your whole like crew is pissed off at you because they get there and there's no promises. There's no gold. They ain't shit. Just fucking land. And then you have these people who like are clapping their tongues together and like making these weird sounds and throwing bows and spears at you. And you're just like, what the fuck did you bring us to, Christopher? And like, maybe like the only way you keep them sane, like while you're killing and slaughtering all these people, is by like ruling with an iron fist. And like, it's horrible. It's horrible. Like, looking back now, it's fucking absolutely horrible. There's no disregarding that. But I don't think we can understand what it was like back then.
Yeah, for sure. That does make a lot of sense.
I think we're way too bubbled right now. Our society is way too without problems. It's way too easy. We don't live in hardness.
Yeah, because it kind of falls in line to where it's like you take away the day, and it's like what you said, not celebrating the actual human, but more so of the accomplishment. Did it come with some fucking brutal consequences to others? Of course. Is it shit that in today's standards, how we look at life, is it very different back then? And of course, like beating babies and fucking chopping ears and shit off. Like, that's fucked up.
But the Indians as well, man, they would take your fucking scalp off, brother. You think about how savage that is, bro. Like, you get somebody down, they're still alive, bro, and you're just carving their fucking scalp off with a sharpened stone, a sharpened rock, bro. Not a knife. You're not getting like a KitchenAid knife. No, it's a fucking sharp rock.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, dude, in a sense, it's almost just like you shouldn't. Yeah, like it's fucked up consequences, but it is things that have led to where we are today. Are we perfect as a society? Clearly not. But it's like it almost, then again, it kind of just falls in the same line of like, and by all means, definitely this is not where I stand because I have quote unquote white skin. But it's like, with having like the Confederates and all that, just like the Civil War, when you take away those statues, I don't know. It's part of it where it's like history is history. And I think in a sense that you shouldn't fucking like you can't alter or you can't change history. The point of having some of those shits, whether if it's good or bad, it's to be able to learn from it.
To look back on it, don't erase it.
Yeah. And it's kind of like,
that's a big problem we're having now.
When you take statues away or you eliminate days, it's kind of like you're picking and choosing on what you want. And to me, it's just kind of, just kind of weird. Just kind of weird because it's like when you get to have that, especially like when I lived in North Carolina, like you had field trips of like going down to Gettysburg and fucking like, I was like in 4th or 5th grade and we fucking spent a weekend up in Virginia and shit, staying at a hotel and whatnot, and got to see like where some of these wars took place and shit like that. And it's like, that's all like you learn from that, you get to learn to where we were as a country and where things
we are
were at
now.
that time. And then you get to be like, well, damn, glad it ain't like that anymore. Or yeah, maybe this person is bad and he has a statue, but there's a fucking learning lesson that comes from don't be like that fucking guy, or this is a guy who got taken out, or blah, 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 blah. And it's, yeah, a little bit of like taking away from hitting, like deleting,
sure.
deleting history. And then depending on where you fall on either side of the politics of trying to take it because it doesn't agree with you, it's kind of just it's fucking weird to me.
Outlandish for sure. I definitely agree.
Yeah, but well, shit, we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode. Always good hanging. We got into some interesting topics today, and yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes, and fucking good discussions to have.
Yeah.
Well, all right, everybody. I am Mixwell. That's Giovanni. This is the Independent Mind Podcast. I'm not even going to say the episode because
11.
I'm starting to forget now. This is episode 11. As always, stay hungry, stay focused. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.